Hello guys, I Dr. Sweta welcome you all in Let's Speak Vivekanand, the youth icon. Today here is a question. Is the world good or bad? The world is neither good nor bad. Let us see how. Instead of throwing tremendous bombshells of hatred into every corner, and instead of projecting currents of jealousy and evil thought, we need to understand, we need to accept and see the things the way it is. There is a need to learn the differences, and those differences must be respected. Swami Vivekanand is asking that, how can you see evil until that evil is in you? The world is neither good nor bad. A man manufactures a world around of himself on his own. It can be a happy world or it can be a world full of misery. Life is good or bad. It all depends on the state of the mind, because life is not good or bad in itself. It depends upon the state of the mind in which we look at it. It is neither by itself. We must have felt that when our emotions and feelings are great, we see the world in a very different manner. We just love it. It's a beautiful place to be living. And when our emotions and feelings are not the same place becomes the most ugliest one to be in, and we want to escape it. Many of us have felt like so. Now let us take an example. Fire. Fire by itself is neither good nor bad. When this fire gives us warmth, we say that, how beautiful is the fire. And when the same fire burns our finger, we start blaming it. Still in itself, fire is not good or bad. It is the manner in which we use it, and through that it produces the feeling of goodness or just the opposite in us. Same is true for the world too. It is perfect. That is, it is perfectly fitted to meet its end. We may all be very sure that it will go on very beautifully well without us, and we need not to bother our head wishing to help it all the time. It's going to sustain itself. It's made to be so. Now see, here is another thing to learn. We cannot possibly conquer all the objective things, that is all the objective environment, that is the outside circumstances and situations. We can't. Let's take another example regarding this. If a fish wants to fly away from the enemies in the water, what does it will do? It will develop wings and will become a bird, and this is how it will escape the water, and then it will be into the air. Now the change. What about the change? Where it happened? The fish didn't change the water or the air. The change was in itself, through evolution of wings. And through this example, we can understand that we cannot change the circumstances and situations. We have to change ourselves. And that's why we also say that be the change you want to see around of yourself. Be the change you want to see around of yourself, because we cannot change people or the world. We can have an influence on them. We can have impact on them. And this is how it works. So always go for the change inside of yourself. All through evolution, we can find that the conquest of nature has always been subjective. That is by conquering the outside, the external stimulus we can handle ourselves, we can handle our reactions for that, and this is how we conquer the situations. And the expansion that made us to do so is always subjective. The same can be applied in the case of religion and morality too. Here also the conquest of evil can be brought in about by the change in the subjective alone. That is why becoming more tolerant and more respectful to all the differences and diversities that our nation is holding, because ours is a secular nation. We can have harmony and peace in the society. Again, this is how the Dvait system, the system where our inner self and absolute reality are one and the same, gets its whole force on the subjective side of a person, that is on the development of the inner side of a being. And that's important. To talk of evil and misery is of no use in real sense. We must work on our own self to overcome those miseries and problems from our life. The world is a great gymnasium where I, you and millions of other souls come and they exercise to make ourselves perfect and strong enough to sustain it. Thus, the world is neither good nor bad. The world is the world, and it will always remain so. Now it's time to wrap up our conversation on the topic with a note that we must always need to take care of our mental state, because that's very important. Because friends, this state is the eye through which we see and perceive the world, and so it must be in a very good state to perceive things in the right light. So thank you so much for watching and listening. Till the next video is uploaded, take care of yourself. Goodbye.